Right, we're back. Almost my first year anniversary, birthday on YouTube. It's been 11 months now. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's been supporting me on the journey over the past year, helping me grow. All my new subs that have joined, all my new members that have joined my membership. I think it's about $3, I think, and you get that chat sticker. And I'll also be uploading random macro pieces onto my membership only community tab. Also, thanks to those who have supported with coffees over the past year, and those since my last tutorial. I'll pop your name on the community tab as well. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be using the Let's Resin 1.1. We're going back to the 18 ink concentrated set. I think in the US now they've got a 27 ink set. I'd need to check that. I'm not 100% sure. So I've got my resin. You can see it's still streaky, so I just need to finish mixing this, and then we're going to pour away. I'm going to try and show you a new effect that I've created recently. I call it the torch effect, and what you get is like it's similar to an Olympic torch, and the colour kind of comes out where the flames would be. So we're going to try and do that with some flames, some flame colours, flame effects. We're also just going to have a little mess around as well and see what we get. And you also get like a 3D tunnel. When you turn the piece to the side, you can see through the torch. Gives you a really nice 3D effect. So we're going to try and get that today and show you how it's going to look. So I'm going to finish mixing this, save the time. I'm going to pour it away, then we'll start dropping our inks. But before I forget, those asking what the ink box looks like, it's this. It's a bit dusty on top, sorry. Now be careful, because you get two types of white in this box set. Unlike the other set, you get two bottles of the C, which is this one. In this one you also get a normal, so you want to make sure you're using this one, okay? And that is what I've got in this. And again, we're just going to give our mould a quick spray with the release spray. You can get this in most craft stores as well. We might do a few of the small ones as well today. Just give it a light spray. Right, I'm going to pour away and then we're going to start. Right, so we've poured out. I've intentionally put too much resin in these two here. So I'm hoping the inks are going to drift inwards so I can add a black background afterwards just to make it pop a little bit. So I've done a few smaller ones because I had a little bit of resin left over, but I think what I'll do is I'll just do those. I'll show the effect in them, but I won't show the ink dropping. Right, so we're going to go with like a flame effect. So we're going to go with two flames here, two flames here. We're going to drift these ones in, hopefully, if it works. And with the others, they're just going to stay normal. So you want, for flames, you want the red, yellow. You could try an orange as well, but obviously when the red meets the yellow, it creates that orange anyway. So we're just going to, like I say, just have a play around and just see what happens. The effect is with the stir. That is where you get the main effect from. Let's do red, orange and yellow. Hopefully we can draw that yellow up and really create that nice flame effect. Again, make sure you shake your white thoroughly before. I've put a ball bearing in mine. It's a 4mm ball bearing, just to shake that, make sure it's all mixed up nicely. Now, like I said, hopefully the surface tension will push the inks over a matter of time. You can see it just pulling away on this edge here. It will just push the inks inwards, so that will give us some area to play with for a black background, hopefully. And again, we're going to recreate the same in this one. Should have kept my lids off. Would have been much easier. Yeah, just be careful with these inks as well, as they can spray, as you've just seen. They can spray a little bit. Try not to apply too much pressure. And then again, we just tap those colours with our white. Again, you can see there's too much in there, but you can see it lifting away from that side already. So we're going to move over this side, recreate the same thing. Might as well just do both at the same time. I don't know why I didn't do that over the other side. Sorry, let's lock my focus. That's better. A year and I still can't film properly. I'll get there in the end. And with the others, we're going to play about with different colours, not just the flames. See what I mean? Just the smallest amount, too much pressure and it can spray. Just like that. So it's very similar to one of my first tutorials with the flame effect, but we're going to do the stir, like I said, very differently. And we're just going to play around. Purple. And I've been using coffee a lot recently. I think coffee's very, very underrated. Coffee and brown I've been using a lot recently. Let's go with a turquoise. Really mix these colours up in this one. You never know what you're going to get. And then we're going to go with some blue. And these inks I found as well spread differently to the 22 ink set. It may just be me, but I find they spread slowly. So you can kind of cram more colour in than usual. And now we're going to go with, I'm going to be using more of the coffee, I think. Coffee, orange and yellow we'll try. And maybe some red. So let's go in with a red. Orange. And then I think I'm going to go with the coffee. Try and get them between the reds and the oranges. And then we're going to drop a yellow in the middle just to highlight all of the colours that the yellow touches. Go with 2 drops. And again, you know, they're safe colours, they're not going to muddy. Hopefully we get some, you know, another, maybe like a lava effect with these. Maybe we'll go with some kind of ice colours. Maybe a purple with it as well on this one. Maybe even just try some white on its own. And a sapphire blue. Where's my sapphire blue? No, I don't know where it's gone. Found it. And then I think we're just going to go with some white in the middle. The white might not stay. It may be taken over by the other colours. We'll see. Hopefully it will leave us with some. It looks like it will, which is good. Yeah, it's going to keep us with some, that's good. Right, and then I think I'm just going to go back with, I'm going to go with brown in this one. Do browns, yellows and a red. So start off with the brown. Remember, you can also use yellow to lighten other colours. For instance, if I put a yellow on top of this brown, it would create a lighter brown. Same with your greens. You can make a more of a lime green. Just be careful if you do it with reds, it's gonna turn orange. Just tap those again with the white. So like I said, with these two here, we wanted that surface tension to draw those inks into the middle, so that when it comes to the hour stir, we can then highlight the back after the stir with a black, just to make those internal colours pop a little bit more. Right, so that is me done for now. We will be back in an hour. I'm going to do these just kind of like 2 colours maybe, and we'll still do the effect in that, but I'm not going to show the ink dropping because it will just eat too much time and I don't want to bore you. Right, I'll see you in an hour. In case I forget, all I've done is a red and a yellow in these 3 and a sapphire blue and yellow in the bottom 4. Right, we're back. Now I know I said an hour, but you really need this resin to be quite gloopy in consistency. So when you dip in, it's stringy. But what I'm going to do is see if I can get the effect in this one and this one now, and then come back, probably maybe I'll come back and test the resin and see if it's a bit thicker for the others. So you really do need this quite thick to get the effect. Let me lock my focus. Is that locked in the right place though? That will do. So what we want to do is our usual stir, but the trick is when we get to the middle and draw the stick out, we're going to swirl the stick and create what will become kind of like a tunnel, and then we need to either droop it this way if it works, or droop it that way, or you know, whatever way you want. But that is kind of how we get the effect. So what we're going to do is start up here and draw that red and hopefully bring some of that yellow up. This might actually be okay to use at the moment. See how it goes when I draw the stick out. So now we need to draw like that and then let the resin, I don't know if my focus is on properly, I'll try it again on the next piece, and then just leave it on the side of the mould. We'll try it again on this one. Try and change my focus for you. And just check. If I put my stick there and focus on the stick, that's better. Right, again we're going to start here. We're going to draw through, bring that yellow up, and as we bring the stick out, we're going to stir really quickly and then let that fall into the rest of the piece. So what that does is that gives us the kind of torch head, would you call it, in the center, and then you get this handle that comes down. You'll see. I think I'm going to continue with the rest and see just how it goes. Hopefully it's not a failed video, but you'll see when we've demolded them if we get the effect that I wanted. That one kind of hasn't done it at all. Yeah, I'm going to leave it for about another half an hour and come back for the others and see if we can get the better effect. See you in a mo. Right, let's try again and see what. It's a little bit thicker now. So again, just keep coming back to your resin and checking it. It's kind of, you just need to try and play around and judge it by the consistency that I've got. Obviously it depends on the temperature of your room, what resin you're using, etc. So we're just going to go in again. Hopefully we'll get a thicker, it's stirring a lot thicker, which is good. And then again, the effect, we need to swirl the resin and then kind of let it just fall onto the surface, and then just pull very slowly. That's much better. Much better. So what that does is that what we've created will sink into the resin, pushing the colour and the surface resin down to give us that 3D effect. And when we demold it, the colour should look like it's kind of flaming out excuse me, flaming out from the torch effect that we've just drawn in. I'll do another one on this. You can get lots of different designs. I'm playing around with a few, but this is a really cool and easy one to start off with, and it gives a really nice 3D effect in your pieces. You could do this on lots of different things. I'm just using this mould just to show you what you can do. I'm really excited to demold these ones now. I've only ever done them in like small round ones. I've never done them in the big ovals. So I think we're just going to carry on with that effect through the rest of them and see what we get. Hopefully we'll get some good, sorry my focus, hopefully we'll get some really good effects. Again, you swirl it around and then just let the resin fall down on top of the piece. Doesn't matter if you kind of blob it on the mould, you can peel that off afterwards. And that will just begin to sink. Also bear in mind, I've said it before, as you're stirring the resin, because it's late and it's thickened, you might get some bubbles. Where you're drawing it through, it's opening some cavities. So you're likely to get some bubbles. So just what I do is use my mini torch, probably about 20 minutes after I've stirred, and then just kind of click blast it from a distance. Not so much of a effect on that one. Yeah, click blast it from a distance, be careful. You don't want to get too close to your mould. Just stir this around. And again, as soon as you draw it out, just spin that resin and let it fall onto the surface, like so. Again, you can kind of just break that area apart so that you're not left with a thick kind of attachment to your piece afterwards. And for these smaller ones, I think I'm probably just going to do a couple on camera and then take it off camera and finish the rest. But I'll do the same thing. Just swirl it around and then let it fall. And when you demold them, you get a really nice spiral effect. Almost like a shell. I'll do one of these ones on camera and then I'll do one of the smaller ones on camera. I was going to go in the yellow, but I'm going to go in the blue. Try and bring that yellow into the middle and then swirl it around and let it fall. And remember, clean your stick before you dip. You don't want to mix the colours up. Right, so I'm going to finish these and we will be back for the demold. I'll see you soon. Right, we're back. I popped one of these out last night. Hasn't really given us the effect, but hopefully in the others you can kind of see a bit of a tunnel where the colours are oozing out. But we're going to see whether we got the results with the bigger pieces. Hopefully we have a bit of dried resin on there, never mind. You can see a little bit of the tunnel, but it's not really there. Still a nice piece, just hasn't got that effect. And some of these we come back to, didn't we, a bit later. There you go, that's more, it's more visible, you can kind of see it there. And that torch, kind of like a flame. I would like to have seen more yellow in the middle there. Let's go on the other side. You can see where it kind of, where I laid down the resin on the side. Again, it's not really there. Almost. That one's a bit more visible. Let's go with this one. That's better. It's not a bubble. I think, yeah, that's when I come back and burst the bubble with some heat. It's kind of there. Again, this mold's just for playing around with. Still a nice piece. Come on. There, you see that handle? Kind of see a little out of storage space, but we're back. So you can kind of see that that torch better in this piece. You've got the tunnel, but no kind of torch handle. I think this one we knew it kind of just fell off. There's some really cool effects in there still. Definitely play around with it a bit more and perfect it. Last one. Not really, almost there. Just not quite. But you can kind of see from this one, when you get it right, you get that really nice handle. I did one, let me see, this was another one that I did. The handle doesn't extend down as much, but you've got that tunnel and that colour oozing out. This was from one of my TikTok lives. Might as well have a look at these whilst we're here. You never know. Almost. Got that good flame up the side. There you go. You've got it there. It's a good one. There. See, the smaller pieces have come out much better than the larger ones. So I've never tried it in the larger ones before, but I think I might have to do it again and just leave the resin to thicken up even more. It's a really cool effect. These were the blue and yellow. It's not so much of a torch, but you've got that void and the colour just oozes out from there. Two more to go. It's like an eye. Again, you've got a small effect there and the colour again coming out. It's just different, you know, playing around with different ideas and stirring techniques. It had a bubble there. So yeah, you can get it, as we've seen. You can recreate it. Just seems to be a bit more difficult in the larger ones sometimes. Right, again, if you haven't subbed, just hit that button down there for me, and I will see you all for the next one. Bye for now.